Hi, welcome back. I'm Jay, and thanks for tuning in. I'm coming live to you with another video, but it's been a minute, so bear with me because I just feel like I don't know how to do this anymore. But I thought that I would do a life update video because y'all, life has been life, and I just want to share it. So before we jump in, get into this aesthetic. Like today is January 3rd and we 3 days into the new year and I'm all about self-care. So right now I'm at I'm recording from Virgin Hotels Dallas. I got me a cute little suite just for my self-care. And so I want to start off by saying self-care should be a priority for everybody in 2023. And I just want to mention that self-care don't have to look like getting a fancy hotel room. That's self-care for me because I'm extra. But you can just do little small things for yourself. Bring yourself, a bath instead of a shower and relax, or take a walk, whatever it is. This week, make it a priority to do something for yourself, self-care wise. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to insert a little video of what the full suite looks like. You can't really see much from right here. This is just the vanity dressing room portion of the suite. It's very fancy. But I'll put a video in so y'all can see the full suite. Real cute. It's like a whole vibe. So I had to get me a suite here because I was like, you know what, 2022 and everything I've been through, I need some self-care time. So anyway, I'll pop that in for y'all to see. So let's jump right on in to why I'm even doing this video. Back in 2022, when I'm acting like that was just so long ago, it was 3 days ago, around September, I got diagnosed with a very rare autoimmune disorder. And it altered my life. It's continued to alter my life. Crazy. We're going to get into it. But the reason why I wanted to do this video is, number one, bring awareness to the autoimmune disorder, but also talk a little bit about how I've mitigated it, because one of the biggest things that's helped me throughout this process is changing up my diet and my lifestyle. So, well, mostly diet. And so I just thought that'd be a good thing to share. Even if you aren't suffering from an autoimmune disorder or anything like that, there's a lot to learn about the things that we put in our body and how it causes inflammation. And so anyway, let's jump right on in. Let me also start by saying that I am not a doctor. So the things that I'll be sharing in this video are not meant to diagnose. It's not meant to tell you what to do. Like anything that if you are suffering from this autoimmune disorder or something similar, any changes that you want to make to your everyday and, herbs you might take or things you might cut out of your diet, you do need to consult your doctor. Let me just say that. I am a nurse though, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not diagnosing anything. I just want to talk about what I've been through. So let's jump right on in. So back in August of 2022, I started to just have like a very painful rash on my hands. And I'm just going to first talk about what symptoms I was experiencing. But before I get ahead of myself, the name of the autoimmune disorder that I was diagnosed with is called dermatomyositis. And so dermato means skin, and then myositis is muscle. And itis is inflammation. So it's inflammation of the skin, inflammation of the muscles. And it also causes weakness. And so I'll kind of talk about what my flare-up looked like, and then kind of how I got diagnosed, and then how I'm doing today. Okay, so in August, I noticed I had like a very painful red rash on my hands. And it was just painful. Like it's kind of stinged. Every time I would go to work and put hand sanitizer on, whatever, I just would notice that, oh my God, this is really red and it's painful. But I didn't think anything of it. It was just a rash, and it kind of came and went. As time progressed, the rash my hands started to swell. So like the tops of my hands right here just started to it looked like somebody took a glove and blew it up. And so I noticed at work, I normally wear medium gloves, and I just started wearing like large, and at the height of everything, full blown extra large. I was like, okay, this is not right. My hand is swollen. And at that time, it was just the rash and the swelling, so I was able to kind of push through. And then it progressed to pain. I just started to have pain in every single finger. All my fingers were swollen shut. Like, they were just swollen. And it was still limited to my hands at the time. I had still had the rash, still had the pain, still had the swelling, but it was all in my hands and in my wrist. Then I noticed that in the middle of my top of my scalp, I had like a circular area of hair loss. So when I saw that, I started to get scared. I was like, okay, something is not right. And so I went to the doctor, and I was in my head convinced that I have lupus. Sometimes being a nurse, you know too much. So you just walking in like, I got lupus, run these X, Y, and Z tests, you know. And so anyway, yeah, I went to my PCP. I had asked her to run an ANA test, which is a marker for lupus. And then I also asked her to run a rheumatoid factor and just basic like CBC blood work so that I could see what was going on, because I knew something was not right. Also with this, like, it impacted my ability to speak. Like, my throat was hurting. So I thought maybe I had a swollen lymph node, but I thought maybe I had like a throat infection, because every time I would swallow, it would just hurt. Or even when I would talk, it was like my throat would spasm and it would hurt. And so again, I knew that wasn't right. So I went to my doctor. She ran all the tests. The ANA for lupus was negative. The rheumatoid factor was negative. And then my white blood cell count was low, which goes along with lupus. So I was still like, are you sure it's not lupus? And she was like, no, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know. And so I was like, okay, well, I need a referral. She was like, well, it's something autoimmune, so I'm going to refer you to a rheumatologist. Again, this all happening in August, September now, you know, symptoms are progressing. And the first appointment for the rheumatologist was way in November. Again, my hand is swollen shut. I'm in pain, you know, but it's still manageable at this point in time. So I had the doctor at that point, my PCP, she gave me just like a steroid dose pack, just a little tapering prednisone. I took that, and honestly, I didn't really notice much of a difference, to be honest. So anyway, time progressed, and things just started getting worse. It started getting to the point where it was all my joints. So it was my knees, it was, like I said, my wrists, hands, but then the weakness started. So with dermatomyositis, you have the rashes, you have the pain, you have the swelling, but weakness is the biggest thing. Most people can't stand. Most people, like, I noticed the weakness. I couldn't pick up a backpack. I couldn't open a door. I lost all my grip strength. So, like, if I needed to open a water or something, I would have to get pliers. It was a mess. It was a mess. I didn't even have the strength to, like, put on socks and shoes. That started taking, like, 10 to 15 minutes. And I'm like, I got to go to work. And so I just noticed I had to do everything really, really slow because I didn't have the strength to do it. Even lifting my arms hurt. Doing my hair, it just hurt. Everything was just hurting. Plus, my hair was still falling out. Like, every day I was finding new little circular patches of balding. And so I'm like, okay, something is not right. And then I noticed that there was a rash on my chest area too. So it wasn't just on my hands anymore. Now it was spreading to my chest and on the tops of my eyes. Which now, after doing more research and learning more about this, that is a symptom of dermatomyositis. You'll have like a shelf-like rash all across your chest, and then a heliotrope rash around your eyes. But mine was just a little rash right here and just a little around my eyes. It wasn't like real noticeable, but of course I could see it. So anyway, I just took it upon myself to go to a dermatologist. I was like, okay, well, there is a skin component, and I can't wait till November. Because at this point, it was getting to the point where, like, if I went to the bathroom and sat on the toilet, I would have to sit there for an additional 10 minutes just anticipating the pain of standing up and then trying to figure out how am I going to stand up because I was so weak. And I live by myself, and I probably should have been asking for more help. But I was just trying to push through it. I don't even know what's going on with me. I don't have a diagnosis. I just know something is not right. So I went to booked an appointment with the dermatologist, explained everything. I said, hey, I'm having all this hair loss. I'm having this pain and stuff. And she even said, like, it's either discoid lupus, which is another type of skin type of lupus, or is something called dermatomyositis. And I was like, okay, well, how do we test to confirm which one it is? I need to know. Because she was like, she wasn't going to test. I'm like, I need to know. And so she was like, well, I mean, we could do a biopsy, but I was like, yes, what we can do, But at this point, the rash on my hands had kind of started going away. My hand was still swollen. It was still painful, but the rash itself was kind of gone. And she was like, I need an area of like active rash to biopsy. So this little area by my chest, I was like, this, is still reddened and inflamed. You can just do this. Long story short, she literally cut a chunk out of my chest of my skin, 2 little things, sent it off to the lab. And in time, it came back dermatomyositis, and that's how I got the diagnosis, is I had to do a skin biopsy. At that time, too, when I was at the appointment, she had gave me, like, hydrocortisone steroid shots in those little areas of balding, which I felt like did not help at all. But what did help is I told her, again, me advocating for myself, I'm like, I am having a hard time standing. I'm hobbling around. I just look a mess. Is there anything you can give me? Can you at least give me I even asked her, I said, can you give me a hydrocortisone shot in my hip? She was like, oh, yes, I will. So she gave me an 80 milligram hydrocortisone shot in my hip. And that's kind of like helped, like, I don't know, it was almost like my joints was like this, but that kind of helped release things. So anyway, that did help, but I did still have pain and swelling, but at least I was able to just it helped me be a little bit more mobile. So again, all this is the dermatologist. So she was like, you still have to see a rheumatologist. That's who's going to manage your care. But, at least this is a start and you know what you have now. So I was like, great. So time goes on and things just were getting worse. So so the diagnosis came in September. Again, I don't have an appointment with a rheumatologist till November. And so the dermatologist gave me 10 milligrams of prednisone and was like, you can take this until in the meantime. I just feel like my doctors were kind of like, it's on you. So that was the thing that kind of premeditated me to be like, I got to take this into my own hands. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a wheelchair. That's how I felt. It was just, I couldn't walk. At this point, I could barely even talk because every time I would talk, it would spasm. Or I would just sound so tired because it's every muscle in your body becomes weak. It's almost like MS, but it's not. It's normally specific to these muscles here and then, your thigh muscles. And so I'm having all that plus just pain every day, every single day, every single day, every single day. So I went to this herbal, she's not a doctor, but like an herbal lady, and just kind of talked with her about what I was experiencing. And one of the things that she did mention was, what are you eating? And, I was just like, I eat no, but honestly, I typically eat pretty healthy, but I mean, in hindsight, how I had to cut everything out, I guess I wasn't that healthy. But anyway, she was like, well, what are you eating? And so I explained, she said, you're going to have to go on a full elimination diet. That's one thing that's going to help because right now your body is just in a constant state of inflammation. So when she said that, I was like, okay, tell me what's to cut out. At this point, I was in so much pain every single day, suffering. I didn't care. I'll never eat again. Like, I want to be walking and I want to be able to talk and do stuff. I don't have, it was just, I couldn't do anything. And so what she had me eliminate was no salt, no sugar, no nightshade vegetables like tomato, eggplant, things you don't even think about, no citrus, so no orange juice, lemon, lime, none of that. Of course, no alcohol, no red meat, and at the beginning, no meat at all. Instead of alkaline water, I drank like all natural spring water. And then I'm trying to think, like no flour, like things that would have gluten in them. And I'm trying to think what else was on there. Because it was a few things on there I was like, you don't even think. And of course, no processed sugar. That was the biggest thing. No processed sugar. So when I first started that little elimination diet, I just didn't even know what to eat. And so also another thing that she recommended was a CKLS like herbal cleanse, and I'll put the link in the description for that, because honestly, me doing that and eliminating everything is probably why I'm not in a wheelchair or hospital right now, like seriously. So it was a 7-day cleanse where everything I just explained in your diet you eliminate, but in addition to that, you take these herbs that cleanse and detoxify your colon, liver, kidney, and spleen. Because a lot of inflammation and where it starts is in the gut. We have leaky gut syndrome, and then, we eating bad all the time. Our body is just in a constant state of that until it just gets worse. And so anyway, that elimination diet, in addition to those herbs, like they're healing herbs. So it's not like one of those detoxes, laxatives where you run into the bathroom all crampy. Like, no, like it was crazy. When I did this, I literally passed gallstones. I didn't even know I had gallstones. I passed gallstones. Like, I passed so much mucus. Like, it was like my body was just getting rid of all these toxins. It is a hard thing to do because you, like I said, for those 7 days, you really just need to be drinking spring water. But, I mean, it was worth it for me. So anyway, I did all of that and I finally felt a little bit of relief. It's not like I was healed or anything like that. I still had a long way to go. I still had pain, still had swelling, but I was able to like walk without so much pain or stand like and do little things. I started to realize, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. But again, with dermatomyositis, and I think the most annoying part of it is every day is different. If you have a good day, you like, oh, I'm feeling better. The next day you could literally wake up and just be in pain again because it's like triggered by things like the sun and stress, alcohol. I can't go out and have a drink, not right now, because alcohol is a toxin in my body and it just restarts the inflammatory cascade. So anyway, fast forward to now and more recently, I ended up having my rheumatologist appointment. I ended up getting more additional blood work. It was so much blood work she had to run to see which type of dermatomyositis this is, because another thing with this is the one that I have has a particular antibody that's linked to interstitial lung disease. So I had to get like a chest CT, and now it's showing changes, and it's just been a mess. I'm just like, if it ain't one thing, it is another. But one thing I wanted to mention is one of the markers that they check for dermatomyositis is called the creatine kinase, and it's a muscle marker. And it kind of tells if you, because it's kind of like a lupus, like it flares up, can go into remission. They say it's no cure, but I'm believing God to be cured of this. But anyway, that CK should be less than 140, normal person who's not suffering from this. When I first got my CK drawn, it was 268, so of course it was elevated. I changed my diet. I did that CKLS cleanse that I'm talking about, and just that alone, with just 10 milligrams of prednisone. I was taking 10 milligrams of prednisone, which is the steroid. My CK came down to 206. So when I saw like the number was starting to go down, I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna keep doing this because it's clearly working. So great. And so a couple months went by, and of course I've been seeing my rheumatologist a lot, and so she reran the numbers. And the last time I got my blood work drawn, I think it was in November, and my CK is 106. And I've only, the most, since getting that blood work drawn, the most steroid doses that I had been on was 20 milligrams. And then the diet changes. So technically it's in remission. But I still have the interstitial lung disease that I have to work through. And, you know, I do sometimes still feel achy. But my point is the diet and, you know, kind of getting rid of all of that stuff is working more than I feel the meds. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of people, and this is another reason why I want to make this video. When I first got diagnosed, I went on YouTube and I was like, let me see if anybody else, who else is suffering from this? I never even heard of this. The videos that were on YouTube were like all like older people who literally were saying like, I'm bedbound, I'm in a wheelchair, I ain't got to do a thing. And I'm like, okay, that's not gonna be me. I'm not gonna be in a wheelchair. And then they didn't talk a lot about the meds they were on, but most of them were on steroids. And then like all these other meds, like immunosuppressants and all this. And I'm like, I'm just not going to be on a lot of medicine. I'm just not. I just know that there has to be some type of other way to mitigate this. Even when I would have pain, when it was really, really bad, I wouldn't take pain meds. And so really, I feel like I probably suffered more than I had to, but it was just, I needed to find other ways. I would do warm soaks in the tub or literally anything else, or, you know, just get in a heated blanket, like anything. Like basically pain meds was my last resort. Like I didn't just run to pain meds because I didn't want to be on all that. And they had gave me like a prescription pain med called meloxicam that I felt didn't work, so I stopped taking that. And then they had put me on a full-blown immunosuppressant. It's called azathioprine. And it's really for kidney transplant patients, but they say they use this as a like second line option for dermatomyositis. And my whole right leg went numb and I couldn't feel it and I couldn't walk. I took myself off of that. And so, you know, when you talk about diet and eliminating and different things, really listen to your body, because your body will tell you, what is this? What you putting in me? That I don't like that. That's toxic. That's not, you know. And that's why I say I can't drink, because even if I go out, now me, I take it too far and I start getting lit. But when I go out, I can't drink, because my body the next day is like, alcohol has no nutritional value. And when you eating clean and you on herbs, like you just can't. And so anyway, just listening to my body has definitely helped me as well. Like, okay, my body don't like that. My body don't want that, you know, that type of thing. And so anyway, where I am now is I am still on steroids. So that's pretty annoying, because of the interstitial lung disease. That is like probably the most serious part of all of this. The rash, the pain, the swelling, that'll go down, but you know, and it has gone down. But the interstitial lung disease can progress, or they say, to like fibrosis, and you end up getting scar tissue in your lungs and all this. I don't have any of that right now, and I don't want any of that. So when my doctor was saying like, you're having changes, but it's not fibrosis, we need to go up on your steroids, I was very hesitant, because I'm like, I don't want to be on high dose steroids. You can't just wean yourself fast off steroids. But then she was like, in 2 weeks you can have scar tissue. So I was like, look, better put the steroids in me. So I am on 45 milligrams of prednisone a day, which is a lot in my opinion. Because again, before this, I was only taking 10 milligrams. And then I went up to 20 milligrams for 1 week. And so I am slowly like weaning myself off of them. But I have to take it slow, because, and again, like I talked about, listening to my body, because at first I was like, I'm jumping right on down, and my body was like, no. Because what you don't want is things to rebound. But you also don't want to be on steroids for a long time and be immunosuppressed. It's COVID going around, it's the flu going around, it's so much going around. And so anyway, the next thing that is going to help me get off the steroids is they have an IVIG infusion that you can do, where there's kind of like how when people had COVID and they was getting those antibodies, they have something similar to that for dermatomyositis. So I'm in the process of setting that up. And my hope is after I get at least 1 or maybe 2 IVIG infusions and get weaned off the steroids, I should be good, because I'm just on that one medicine. And so, but I'm going to have to stick to the elimination diet and that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a struggle, and this is just kind of me just throwing it out there quick. But what I wanted to just jump into real quick, I don't want to take too much time, is kind of what I eat, because people might be like, you eliminating all that, what are you eating? But I mean, to be honest, I'm eating like the normal stuff. So for example, the other day I made Jamaican cabbage. I cut up red cabbage, green cabbage, red onion. You can put carrots in there, you put broccoli, you can load it up with a lot of vegetables. I put some Cajun andouille sausage in there. That is pork. You probably shouldn't do that, but I was like, I want a little meat in mine. But I got it fresh from the meat market at Central Market. I didn't get anything packaged. It's fresh from the meat market. I had to cut it up, make it into, you know, that type of thing. And then I steamed it down. And then what I really season with is like salt-free garlic seasoning, minced garlic, your raw onion. You can use your garlic powder, onion powder, cayenne pepper, black pepper, and I use a lot of turmeric, because turmeric is something that, you know, helps with inflammation. I take them little turmeric wellness shots every single day, because I cannot get sick. I'm on steroids, immunocompromised, and I'm a nurse, so I'm around stuff all the time. I cannot get sick. And so, so that was a meal. And then another meal, like I took some fresh chicken breast, again, from the meat market at Central Market, not this packaged Tyson stuff. If you're going to eat meat, you need to at least get it fresh from the meat market if you suffering from an autoimmune. And so I threw that in the crock pot with some chicken broth, but no sodium. And then I put some garlic pesto butter on there, cut up some sweet yellow onion, did all the same seasonings that I just mentioned, and then just let all them juices cook for 4 hours and let the chicken get real tender. And then I just put it over whole grain brown rice and green beans. And I drink a lot of green drinks, so like berries, fresh cut pineapple, spinach. I have the little green drink powder that I put in there, hemp seed, raw hemp seed, coconut water, and a little cinnamon, because cinnamon is good for inflammation too, and you blend it up into a smoothie. So I'll do that as meal replacements or as breakfast, things like that. I just basically don't eat processed food. I don't go and buy a little pot pie that you throw in the oven or a little pizza. I don't eat none of that stuff. I don't eat candies, cakes, all that. I had to cut out alcohol, drink a lot of water. And then like at work, because I work night shift, I'm a nurse, I just eat salads. So I'll buy the little prepackaged salads, but I get my own lettuce because that lettuce don't be no good. So I do my own lettuce with the herbs in it, cut up red onion. I put raw hemp seed all through the salad. And then I do use dairy-free, what am I trying to say? Whatever I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? The stuff you put on the salad dressing. That was another thing from the elimination diet. No dairy, so no cheese, milk. But it does, my thing was to eat eggs though because of the protein. So that was another thing, no cheese, because cheese don't do nothing. And I love cheese, but it don't do nothing but inflame you. That's all. Like, you want to be inflamed, eat some cheese. Like, I had to cut that out too. So anyway, like I said, I eat good. It's not like I'm over here. Now, at first, I was stressed, like, what am I going to eat? But over time and just kind of just going with the flow of the illness and just learning, like, how to live with this, I realized, because I like to cook. So, I'm just like, I got to still eat good. I got to find a way. I got to find something. And so there's a lot of ways to pack in your veggies and get what you need and get what your body needs without having to put all that salt and without having to put all that extra sugar. We don't realize all that extra sugar. And you can get your sugar content from fruit. Eat fruit. Your body needs sugar. I think that's the misconception, that my body don't need no sugar. It just needs naturally occurring sugars that's in fruit. You need the sugar for the energy, so you don't want to just cut out sugar and be like, well, I ain't eating fruit because that got sugar. That's the sugar your body needs and can process and turn into energy. It's the cakes and the zebra cakes and the Twinkies and all that your body don't need, and the bundt cakes and all that, and all the sugar that's in alcohol. Like, cut all that out. So anyway, that helped me. So again, I am still in the process of dealing with this. I don't look like what I've been through, but I've been through. I have been through. And so I just want, a couple lessons learned just to end it off. Know your trigger. Like, things that stress you. I think people ask, how did you get this? Where did this come from? I asked the same thing. My rheumatologist was like, it could be genetic. It could be you grew up near the sun. I'm like, I grew up in Fort Worth. Like, I didn't grow up near the hemisphere. But to be honest, I think it was stress. Like, I'm a NICU nurse. I work nights. I was going. And it got to the point where my body was like, baby, sit down. Stop. Like, it's too much. And so I think mine was probably just triggered by stress. And then the stress of the illness triggered more stress. And it just was getting so much worse. So I had to take control of that, and the things that were triggering me or stressing me or worrying me, cut it off. And even one thing, like when it got to the point where my doctor had put me on so many meds, like that immunosuppressant and that one pain med plus steroids. And I remember one day I went in my bathroom and I had so many pill bottles, and I was like, am I an 80-year-old? So I literally had to condense. Okay, I'm not taking that pain med because it don't work. That made my leg go numb, trash. And I had so many different dosages of my prednisone because she was calling me in. So many dosages. I just put them all in one pill bottle, and just little things like that. So I just didn't feel like when I walked in my bathroom, I'm just seeing sickness, and just being reminded of, having to be on meds and stuff like that. So anyway, know what your triggers are, eliminate it. Listen to your body. Like I said, your body will tell, our bodies tell us. You go out and you live with your friends, you wake up the next day and you got a headache and a hangover. That's your body saying, I didn't like that. I know it was lit, but no. So, listen to your body. It tells you what it wants, what it can handle, what it, things like that. That definitely helped me. And then I think biggest piece too, be kind to yourself. I used to feel like, I can't go to the store, because it also makes you tired too. So I would spend all this time just getting my clothes on, because like I said, when I was really suffering, it was just hard to do anything. Putting on a shirt, putting on pants, that could take an hour. And then by the time I get all that on, I'm just too tired to go to the store. And it used to just piss me off. I'm like, I didn't spend all this time putting on the shirt, putting on the pants, and now I'm too tired to go. But then, on days when I was able to go to the store, do whatever little running around errands, I just gave myself grace. Like, girl, you went to the store today. You didn't go to all the stores, but you went to one, just trying to push through it, because you just got to be kind to yourself. And then, like I said, self-care things. It don't have to be this fancy. But just whatever you got to do to make yourself feel good, you got to love yourself through this and any other autoimmune disorder, because it will have you, it'll take you down. And I think the biggest thing is just trusting God. He put us through certain storms. We don't know why, but it's not, always about us. Another reason why I had to do this video, because of course it was days where I'm like, am I gonna make it? But God kept me, and it's just like, if you ain't dead, God ain't done. So keep pushing, and just trust that it will get better. And accept the disease as it comes. I ended up having to cut all my hair off, but it was just falling out. It was just falling out in chunks, and I was just like, my mama cut it off. Thank God for my mama. I appreciate you. Cut it off. As soon as a little bit of them little bald spots started growing back in, oh baby, I was wearing my hair. I'm gonna put a little a little picture in there. I didn't waste no time. I just was accepting it. Like, if I gotta let my hair grow and start over, that's fine. If I gotta cut out alcohol and I can't turn up, that's fine. If I got, just accept the disease as it comes. Accepting it helps you deal with it a little bit better. And don't get me wrong, that's easier said than done. And even with my hair, like I said, initially my doctor put steroid shots all in them spots, and I felt like the spots got bigger. It wasn't until I used a natural, there's a lady, she has a black-owned business, and she sells hair growth oils. One of my friends from work told me about it, and it's all natural herbs in the oil. It's not no additives, nothing. She makes it at home. And it's real potent. Like, she got herbs in there like fenugreek and all these different things. So I bought that, and honestly, that's what grew all my little bald spots back in. It's natural, not nothing from the hair store. None of this at the order, and I'll put that link below too. And then another thing that helped me is clove water. So I took cloves, I soaked them in water for 24 hours, and it just, made water. Took the cloves themselves out, and cloves is just an herb you cook with. And I sprayed my scalp after I cut my hair. I sprayed my scalp with that every day, because clove water helps with inflammation. A lot of people who are experiencing hair loss or hair thinning is due to inflammation in the follicles. And so I definitely think that has helped too. Like, just spraying my hair with that and then doing that little oil got my hair growing back in. And then the biggest piece too, like, advocate for yourself. Do your own research. This is like a big deal. So you need to go into these doctor's appointment educated, because for me, they was just like, well, no, we hope, and I'm like, can I get some help? Like, but I'm glad that I did do my own research, because I was able to go in and say, I need these tests run. What do this mean? What's the plan to wean me down to a safer dose of steroids? Blah, 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 blah. And then, I think the biggest lesson of this for me, just to end it off, is that sometimes when it rains, it pours. That just is what it is. Like, it was just one thing after the next, after the next, after the next with this. And like I said, I'm still working through. I'm not like 100% out of the water. But when it rains, it pours, you just know it's something bigger on the other side. So just keep pushing. I know it's difficult suffering from an autoimmune disorder, and it's difficult cutting out the things that we love as far as food and diet and lifestyle, but it's worth it. And if I can't say anything to anybody, just to encourage you, don't wait till your body shut down. Think about your life. Am I stressed? Am I always irritated? Do I feel little pains out of nowhere? Like, start listening to your body now. Don't wait till you can't walk. Don't wait till you can't talk, or you losing all your hair and all these crazy things are happening. Don't wait till your body shuts down. Like, listen to your body now. Start making some changes so that you don't even have to get into this cycle of inflammation. Now I gotta get myself out of it. Now, it's just a mess. So anyway, I thank God for the storm. To be honest, nobody wants to be sick, but hey, I'm still here, so I'm just gonna keep pushing. But I thank God for my friends, family who have supported me, and then just having self-awareness. Like I said, when this first started, I knew something was off. And then just saying, let me go. Because too often people feel something off, but they don't want to, if I go to the hospital, they going to find something wrong. I'm telling you, just go. Just get the testing. Just go. It's better to know than not, and jump on it. Because my doctor did say, I said, is this what would you say my level of dermatomyositis myositis is? Is this like mild, moderate, severe? She said, honestly, it's caught early. She was like, that's what I think. You came right on in, and you got right on it, because it is one of those things that progresses quickly. And so I am thankful that when I seen something wasn't right, I went to the doctor. And so anyway, if y'all have any questions, put them in the comments below. Like I said, I didn't want this video to be too long, and I'll put those links down there for the different like herbs, or at least the CKLS cleanse I did, and then like the herb I use for my hair. And anyway, if y'all have any questions, let me know. Anyway, cheers to 2020. Cheers to 2023 and self-care, loving ourselves and taking care of ourselves. I'll catch y'all next time.